Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I have game 1 of a best of 3. It's a PVT and it's from the Zotac Cup. It should be super good fun. It's on Cloud Kingdom. Let's just get straight to this and introduce the two players. So spawning in the bottom left position, we have got the purple Protoss player with the clan tag I play. It is GunGfuBanDa, which I'm just going to call Gunfu from now on because it's too long to say that entire name, I can assure you. And in the top right position, his opponent, the Red Terran, currently on CM Storm, it's Polt. So, PVT, this should be super good fun. Lots of exciting things no doubt will be happening. We've got the solid transitional stages of the game. You get the point where, obviously, before Stim comes out for infantry, assuming Polt does go for a bio composition, where gateway units are strong. Then you get Stim out, and Stim, Marina Marauder, and Medevacs kind of destroy everything, and it's a scary time for Protoss. But then they get out Colossus or High Templar, and they're like storm in, laser in from the back, and they kill infantry, and then it's up to getting the Vikings and the Ghost count correct. But this is making some assumptions still, and that's that neither player does anything too peculiar in the early stages. I can hope that they do, because that makes games very exciting. Of course, at the time of this video, I should be when I release this, I would have already started. I'll be in the process of casting lots of the WCS EU Challenger series, so make sure you tune in and check me out there. If you want to know when we're going live and stuff, you can find it all on the WCS EU website, or you can just add me on Twitter, which is below where I'm waving my mouse here, and obviously I'll tweet whenever I'm going to be going live and things like that. So that's me along with 4 other casters: Jorisar, Lurlian, Nathanis from Team Contact, and of course Zoya. So us 5, we're going to be doing pretty much all of the Challenger series from Season 1 of WCS EU, which should be great to watch. Now, as we can see, in terms of strategy from these two, we've got a gateway coming down, we've got a barracks down here for Polt, he's also got up the gas. Hasn't started a Reaper as of yet, going to just go for a Marine. The probe did get trapped in the main base, so will not be escaping, will therefore be dying, especially with if the supply depot wall-off goes back up. The Marine coming out, the Reaper following this up. Reapers are good on this map because of how much cliff space there is around your main. You can really poke up and poke down very effectively. Against Protoss players, it's really effective as well. I know looking on Twitter this morning, I saw Todd, who's an amazing guy. I've met him before. I cast with him at the East UK Masters. He's really solid. But just saying, there was a Reaper in my base before I could even get a Stalker out. 4 minutes, there was a Reaper in my base. It's crazy. And it does so effectively, because if only a Zealot's down, it's so difficult to try and stop that. So what is going to be the first unit out of this gateway? It should either be a Stalker or a Sentry. There's enough money for both. The Nexus is now on its way down. The Reaper coming across the map. Here comes the Stalker. That's going to make the defense against the Reaper a lot easier, but the Reapers are still going to be highly effective. It's just scouting around, making sure there's nothing funky going on from Gunfu here, and ultimately Polt going to find out that, yep, I'm safe. Nothing crazy happening. The SCV came in anyway and saw the Nexus down, and there was 1 gas. So everything going pretty safe. We've got the factory coming down here for Polt as well, following this up. He only got out the single Reaper, and I think that's quite an important thing to note, because some Terran players do like getting out more than 1, 2, 3, 4 to get more damage, but actually just the one of them gives you good scouting information. You can still soak up a lot of your opponent's APM early game just trying to defend against it. It can be really quite frustrating actually, try to hold off a Reaper, because you've got to be paying attention, because if you don't kill them, just as we're seeing now on screen, they heal up exceptionally fast, and that can be problematic if you want to ultimately just come back in and don't want to have to deal with that sort of aggression. But Polt, with his natural coming down, Gunfu with the mothership core coming out, this is just getting more into later stages. There goes down the robotic facility, there's the second gateway. So a really macro-orientated, tech-orientated build out of Gunfu at the moment. The starport just on its way from Polt, but with his own command center at the natural completed. He's macroing up as well, neither player going for any kind of one base all in, so the next real big timing pushes we're looking for are sort of around the 10-12 minute mark. That's where the next bits of action are likely to be occurring, but before then, the Reaper is going to still keep attacking. It's still going to be poking around, trying to draw up some of the attention of this Stalker. The Stalker is desperate to kill it though, but it will not be successful in doing so once more, and that just means that this Reaper is being very lucky. It hasn't done really any damage though, it hasn't got a single kill, so all it's doing is winding up some of GunGfu's APM in trying to deal with it, trying to defend it. This Stalker, sorry, coming up, sees the Widow Mine there, needs to pull back, because otherwise that Stalker is going to die, and that means it does go down after a bit of a misstep there. And losing a Stalker to a Widow Mine is very cost ineffective. We can see that so far, GunGfu lost 225 resources, compared to 0 of Polt. That's obviously good news for Polt, who's doing an indefinably better job of keeping his resources in units and in buildings, and not in the nether. As we can see though, Stalker still just playing hide and seek with this Reaper. The Reaper still winning, unfortunately, for GunGfu. GunGfu also getting down another Observer. So actually, no, that's, yeah, it is the second Observer. The first one's going just across the map at the moment. Will it spot this Medevac? This Medevac potentially going to be a little bit dangerous. The double Widow Mine and 4 Marine drop really allows him to do a lot of damage. The Watchtower has been taken, but that Medevac just creeping through out of range of that. Very, very well done there by Polt, meaning that it won't get spotted, and therefore the defense could be a little bit harder. But with a Mothership core down, with the Stalker there, where is the second Observer? One's there, one's in the main, keeping an eye out, not expecting to drop into the natural. That means that these Widow Mines should easily be able to get the burrow down, and they get down without being noticed. Ooh, detonation any second. There we go, massive hit, and that got 7 kills with that Widow Mine. Such a good drop for the cost of just a single one. That was absolutely brilliant. In now should come the Observer, just kind of wandering its way through, but that means Polt is going to come in from the other side. There are 2 Stalkers and 2 sentries there, ready and waiting. So this will be a harder drop to successfully do, but just getting 8 worker kills this game, and 7 off that 1 Widow Mine detonation was brilliant for Polt. He's already leveled out the work account, and he's got mules, which is good for him. Just dropping that Widow Mine in, not going to try and go into the third, not going to try and go into the main, just blocking off the third, which is an interesting choice. Going to kill this Stalker quickly. Should be able to do so. Oh, is that Stalker actually going to make it away? Oh my goodness, that was one lucky Stalker. I was sure that was going to go down. Very, very lucky Stalker. The first Immortal also on its way through. We've got no more real tech coming out, just the double upgrades for the time being. Polt taking his third, knowing that his opponent isn't down yet, just making sure that he stays ahead economically, adding on more barracks as well as the +1 infantry weapons, and combat shield and stim all syncing up nicely. So this is the very typical sort of 10-12 minute 2 medevac +1 stim combat shield push, and ultimately Polt can come in sooner than that if he wants to, but as long as he's got stim, that's a really important part of the puzzle. The 3 medevacs here as well, which is going to really allow him to push in quite hard. Will he wait for that +1 weapons? Maybe he'll just go and have a little look around, make sure the third isn't being taken, and be settled with that before trying to move forward. But it's a scary push, this. Really effective, and any Terran players watching who are struggling against Protoss, just learn this timing push. It's so powerful, and as long as you have an okay early game, you're fine. One of the Observers gets taken out there, and that means this big pickup into the main was not spotted. It still can't be seen, as we can see here from GunGfu. He has no idea. He's like, oh, okay, no units, and then suddenly spots it. This is now an awfully bad position for him. So many probes potentially going to go down here. Photon overcharge being used on that Nexus. 1 pylon goes down, unpowers the robotics facility. Here comes all the units running back. Polt lifts up, boosts back out of there, knowing that he's done more than enough damage there, killing a couple of workers in that pylon. So far, Polt has still lost under a third of the resources of his opponent in this game. He's got a Colossus, GunGfu trying to get that Colossus out, but obviously unpowered. He's got his Twilight Council coming down, ready to start 2-2 imminently. +1 Terran ground infantry weapons nearly finished. +1 Terran infantry armor is about a core to done. Concussive shell coming down as well. The Observer once more gets taken out. The scan gives vision of the high ground, sees what's there. Moving forward, there is the Immortal. That's going to do some nice damage, but Stutter Step Micro going down. Those force fields trap 1 or 2 units, but most are able to get through. Another Stalker gets taken down on the high ground there. 2 Hellbats coming out for Polt as well. And GunGfu, he's just got to keep a really cautious eye on this infantry force, because it's starting to look very scary. It's got +1 now, which means that he's only got 1-1 against 1-0. Not a huge upgrade advantage. Combat shields done. Concussive shell is about to finish. 2 medevacs going up into the main base, while just a handful of units there. This should be pretty easy for GunGfu to realise that it's coming though, but Polt, he's moving straight in. He's going to get some more probe kills, picking off probes mining gas first, just to really hurt the gas income. And now he's just going to start going to town on all of these gateway units. Are there going to be anything else pushing in more? The Colossus does still stay down the back. He needs to be careful because there is a Widow Mine there. Detonation does go off. These 2 medevacs trying to boost out of there. Should be able to get away safely. And Polt is just really dominating this game at the moment. He's keeping his opponent back. He's got 18 workers so far. He's ahead 60 SCVs to 48 probes, plus 3 mules, plus a base. That is just so substantial. It's massively ahead, and I think that GunGfu's going to have a really tough time trying to get back from this, especially when his Viking production, his Colossus production isn't that great. The Viking production for Polt is going to be able to keep up. If we take a look here, Polt getting his first 2 Vikings out already. +1 armor and ship plating, so that just means that they will be staying alive a little bit longer. But now he's starting to gear up, ready for the next push. +1 turn infantry armor is done, so that means they're both tied to the 1-1 upgrades. That's great for Polt. Before this, he was obviously down 1 upgrade. The Observer getting a good look at the army. There's also some Hellbats mixed in. A drop coming in the main, though, and this is a big one because look at how far out of position GunGfu's army is. This is allowing this infantry to just tear apart everything. A photon overcharge did go down, but a lot of units getting taken out. The Colossus is also there, but with the photon overcharge and the Colossus, Polt not feeling it. He was moving some units ready to go and poke up into the natural, but decided against it. Is he going to load up and go for the drop? He could do, or is he just going to pull back? No, he's just going to play it cautiously for the time being. GunGfu does have a pylon up to the top position here. He's getting blinked down as well now. The Colossus count is slowly starting to rise, up to 2 Colossi, the 3rd one on its way. Polt with just a soft contain on his opponent, though. He knows exactly where he's going to be moving to. He's got units everywhere. We can see that the 3rd base only just now getting up for GunGfu. And that, compared to Polt, who's been mining off his 3rd for an absolute age, just means that he is getting into a really nice position. Polt has finally discovered this proxy pylon up to the top left. The Zealot warping in just to try and stop that. 2 Zealots also heading towards this 3rd, where there aren't actually any units to defend. That's the only small problem. There are some just at the natural base, so they can get pulled up to come and deal with just 2 Zealots fairly quickly. But Polt nearing maxed out, 185 supplies, got his Ghost Academy on the way. The Templar Archives still only in construction for GunGfu. Polt really tearing this apart, making sure that he's getting in a good spot. Going to lose a couple of SCVs here to the Zealots, and this is the sort of counter pressure GunGfu's been needing to do for a long time. But this main force outside the 3rd, that's what's looking really scary. There are 3 Colossi here. Photon overcharge already triggered. The Viking count looking very substantial, and as we can see, 8 Vikings just starting to whip through these Colossi. The attack arc fantastic here for Polt, but the Colossus are doing some nice damage. They all will fall though shortly, and there's a lot of infantry remaining, and this is where the gateway units are getting taken down, and obviously the medevac's healing up most of the remaining units. But this photon overcharge doing a nice amount of damage. Will Polt be able to take down this Nexus? He should be able to now. Another Colossus is just streaming in, but if the Nexus falls, that's the big problem. The Colossus goes down, and I think GG is going to have to be called, and there we go, GG right there. GunGfu knows he's not going to be able to come back in Game 1. Of course, that was only Game 1 of this best of 3. If you enjoyed this, like the video, leave a cool comment, and then subscribe. And finally, flick over to my channel, and I'll see you at Game number 2 in just a second.